All right, welcome back, everyone. Last Friday, we kicked off the first ever 3D CAD team tournament, and it was absolutely amazing. The energy, the competition, and the CAD skills on display were next level. Huge thanks to everyone who tuned in and cheered on the competitors. Huge congrats to Smiley and Mr. Fancy Pants for winning their matches in the first round. You both crushed it. And to the JS and NXC, keep on practicing because another tournament could be on the horizon. Your CAD skills are growing, and with more practice, you'll take it to the next level. But we're just getting started. The next preliminary round is coming up this Friday, January 17th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And Escalete and La La Lambs will go head-to-head in the first match, with W and Wicho battling it out to see who moves on to the semifinals. There'll be more epic challenges, live commentary from me and Too Tall Toby, and awesome prizes from 3D Connection. Mark your calendars, spread the word, and get ready for more CAD excitement. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications, and we'll see you live this Friday. Links to the live stream will be in the description below. Thanks again to our very generous sponsors for making this tournament possible. So let's switch on over to our lesson for the day. You're here for drafting practice, the draft tool practice. This is our shifting to solid series, so we're focusing on these tools in the 3D toolbar. And what we need to do is start a sketch like always. So we'll click our top view. We'll click Shift and S to start that sketch, and N to normalize that view, P to hide those planes. What we're going to do today is just start with a simple rectangle. We can use corner or center point. I always like doing center point if I can, especially when I'm basing it off the origin. I know some of you guys were asking about how to make things justified and fully defined, and more often than not, if you base things off that center point, that origin, it's always going to be defined, especially when you give it some dimension. So what we're going to do today, we're going to give it a 6" by 6. We'll go 12" rectangle. So 6 by 12. Again, the geometry on this doesn't really matter all that much. All we're doing is using it as an example to show you how this draft tool works. From here, we'll select OK. We're going to switch to Shift and E to shift to a solid. It's going to ask us for extrude. We're going to select that face, and it'll just give it a depth of 10 inches, so we have something to play with. We'll select OK, and you'll see now we have a 6 by 12 by 10 rectangular prism, and now we can switch over to the draft tool. So if you come up top and you look up here, draft lives next to chamfer, which is what we did last week. So we're going to go ahead and click draft. And essentially what draft is going to do is it's asking me for a neutral plane. So what we're trying to do is add kind of some angled points, angled faces. And what that's going to do is take our existing geometry and put some angles on it. So it's kind of hard to explain without showing you, but basically the one you don't want to change. So I need this top face to stay. So I'm going to make that top face my neutral plane. So you'll see up here, it's asking me to select that neutral plane because it's blue. So I will come over here and select my top face as my neutral plane. Once I did that, you'll see that now it's telling me what entities do I want to draft. So I'm going to turn this to a left side view. We'll kind of come a little offset. There we go. And my entities I'm going to draft, I'm going to start with this face. And once I click it, you'll see that it's adding at a 20-degree angle, because that's what's picked, a draft. So like a angled piece. Okay. Now, if I were to pick the other side, I can do both, and I end up with equal distance. I can come in here and change that draft angle to 10 degrees, and you'll see both corners will change accordingly. I can also use my arrow here. I can pull it out and use it with my mouse to kind of get somewhere close. There's a 35 degree. But what's really cool is if I click these side faces, go up here, and I add other ones, you'll see now I get sort of a pyramid. Now what is staying? You'll see the bottom has to match because of what we did, but my top face, that's where that neutral plane comes in. So whatever face you pick, that's the one that's it's gonna draft from there. It's gonna set an angle from there, okay? Part of this, you'll see I have this reapply fillet feature here. I'll show you that here in a second. We have to add some fillets first for that to work. But what's nice is if I want this to have a 10-degree all the way around, you'll see it's 10 degrees all the way around. I can flip it and I can have it cut in 10 degrees. So you'll see now it's looking more like a funnel shape. We'll make that like 35. And you'll see the more you go, when you go inward, it gets a lot tighter. If I swap the other direction, you'll see it gets bigger. So we'll go 5 and we'll flop that to the center just so we can have not a super big cut, but we're going to do something with this here in a second. So now what we're going to do is we're going to extrude this bottom piece. So we're going to go to the bottom face down here, extrude that about 6 inches just to give us something to play with. Say okay. And now we're going to use that draft feature, but using the parting line version. So we'll click parting line, pull direction. We're going to click that bottom face, parting edges. Now we're going to go back up here to that line that we have here. So we're going to select all the way around. Let's go. There we go. Sometimes it gets oriented kind of weird, so you have to move it around. But you can go in and you can type whatever you need. So if I want this to be 20 degrees, I could have 15, whatever. Let's go with 55. And you'll see it's a pretty big flange, right? It's flaring out quite a bit. I only have to pick that one edge, and it's going to follow that chain all the way around. So it's picking, I could go through and pick every single line, but it's already selecting that, and you'll see it's giving me a face based off of all those curves. I could do one-sided, symmetrical, and two-sided, just like almost all of our 3D commands. So we'll say okay. And now you'll see I have some sort of, maybe it's a table leg, like a foot. I don't know, I kind of just drew some stuff up and was trying to show you some practice. Right now I can come in here and I can add a fillet around here if I'm using this maybe in a 3D printing environment. If I'm using this for, maybe this is like I don't know, in my mind it kind of looks like a vacuum, like an attachment, something for your vacuum. Let's scale that up a little bit, give it a little bit bigger of a wall. And now you have some sort of flange. Maybe it's a ducting system. I know some of you guys were asking about that. Whatever you want to call it. But that draft angle is going to help you get that. And it doesn't always have to be a straight, pyramid, straight line kind of deal. You can always add some curves and some fillets to make that thing happen. So that's going to do it for us today on shifting to solids. If you have any questions on draft, feel free to answer in the comments. I look forward again to seeing you guys on Friday, January 17th. That's this Friday coming up, 10 a.m. Pacific. It'll be 1 p.m. Eastern time. Me and Toby are going to be doing this again. I know I said it at the beginning of the video, but the kids are doing a great job. If you watched last week, thank you for watching. If you didn't watch last week, I'll put the link down in the description. Go watch last week. Get hyped for this week. Let's get these kids the recognition they deserve. They've been working really hard. And it's their first week back at school, and they're going to be competing in the first ever CAD versus CAD esports high school tournament. So thanks again. I will see you guys next week.